Hey babes, my name's Hannah.
And my name is Chasity.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we're going to be giving you guys our September reading wrap up. How many do you have?
I have 6.
I have 5. I do want to preface this by saying that 4 out of my 5 are rereads, but I did read 5 this month.
I have 1 reread.
Yeah.
And I feel like this month, although it felt like it flew by, I feel like in reading it took forever because I feel like I read some of these forever ago.
My one new read, I was reading for a long time because it's kind of a longer book, so.
Yeah, I feel like my first one I read forever ago, but it was really only at the beginning of the month. So
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I reread the books for good reasons. There's one that I reread because the next one's coming out this month in October. And then 2 of them I reread for our band, what was it, the theory video that we did? Is it up yet?
It's coming.
Okay. It'll be coming up in October.
It'll be coming out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm also rereading those.
Yes.
I have not finished the second one.
I
haven't because I'm trying to read other books here.
I know.
Hannah.
I just ignored the rest of my TBR.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
I try not to do that.
I know.
I tend to do that. I did it with the first one.
Yeah.
That's why I'm actually surprised I did 6 this month.
Right.
But the first one that I read was The Accidental Pinup by Danielle Jackson. That's who wrote that. I give that one 4 stars. I was really interested in this premise. It's about a photographer who works with her friend. Her friend designs a lingerie line for plus size girls. And it's very inclusive, and I really loved the idea, and they're trying to get it more, you know, like bigger, and she has done most of the photography for it and the marketing and everything, and the best friend who runs the line is pregnant. And she typically models for the line, and she's pregnant, and she is like a high risk pregnancy, and she gets put on bed rest, and so she cannot do any more of the modeling. And so there's a big chance for them to like get picked up by another, like I don't know how to, like another company.
Okay.
Like a big chance for them. And so this company that wants to work with them is going to be choosing the photographer. So obviously she wants her friend to get it, the one who's been working on it, but she has to go up against another photographer, and the company is the one who has hired this photographer, who's the male in the story. The female lead is the friend's photographer, and the male lead is the company's photographer.
There's a little bit of tension.
So there's a little bit of tension, and they're going up against each other for the job, and it ends up that the best friend, who is the head of the lingerie company, and the company decide that the girl who is the photographer needs to be the model for the lingerie, and that the man needs to be the photographer.
I see.
So then that whole dynamic switches.
Yeah. And
she's still creative director on the project, but she has to model, and she's never modeled before. And then he kind of feels bad because she definitely should be the creative director, and he sees that very quickly after like working with her for like 1 or 2 days. And so yeah, it's a very interesting story. And of course there's obviously they have to work in close proximity, and like you can see how that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it was very good, and I really liked it. I liked the characters, and I liked the whole premise, and I really liked it. It was good.
Yay.
Yeah.
First one I read this month was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This was a reread for me because It Starts With Us is coming out this month. It has been years since I read that book.
Same.
So I wanted to pick it back up. I have to say, like, it's not how I remember it.
Really?
Yeah. It's a bit cheesier than I remember it being.
Okay.
But I did still really like it. It had less of the, I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read it, but the kind of bigger underlying message, that aspect wasn't as much in the book as I remember it being.
Okay.
But I did still really like the story.
Your original takeaway maybe was a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I'm really excited for the next one. Very excited to see, because I love the flashback scenes between her and Atlas. I really do. And I'm excited to see how that relationship that they had when they were younger, and like they were both going through something very traumatic, can like shift as they're now adults who are more stable.
Yeah. I think I should probably reread it too, because I remember some of the flashbacks. I don't remember as much with her and Atlas as I do.
Yeah.
Her and Ryle's scenes really stick out to me.
I have to say, like, I, this time around, saw Ryle's red flags right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Of course.
Whereas when I was younger, I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably because I knew how it ended, but also because I was like, how did I not see that?
Yeah, you're older.
He's been aggressive since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely probably reading it for the second time because you already knew, but also maturity and seeing the world a bit differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And it was still like really difficult to read because you're obviously reading it from her point of view, and it was hard for her to process it all, you know.
Yeah.
Being in the same situation her mom was in, and
well, and it's, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, it's much different. It's so much easier to like say I would leave, or I would do this, I would do that, but it's so much different when you're in the situation.
Yeah, it's easy to judge when you're not.
Yeah, it's so much easier when it's not your shoes.
And that's what she learned. That's what the main character learned. Because she was very judgmental of her mother for a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably like the most important.
Yeah. And so dealing with her unpacking that. Yeah.
So on a totally different spectrum, the next one I read was a reread, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I finished out the series. So sad about it.
I know.
So sad about it. It's so good. I cried. It's so good. It's definitely like different. Like it hits different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Especially as an adult.
As an adult, it just hits so different.
Because I feel like they're finally adults too.
Yeah.
It's very much a shift in the characters.
It's such a huge shift. And like we lose people in this book, and like
which, even though we've been losing people the entire series, I feel like it's so concentrated in this book.
Yeah.
And their losses felt so much more in this book.
And it's like the end all be all.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I immediately wanted to go back to number 1.
I know.
So I was like, I don't want to go.
I know.
So, of course, that was a 5-star for me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Hogwarts so much.
Me too.
If I wasn't always in Valaris, I'd go there.
Right.
But
speaking of Valaris, my next reread was, I read the first ACOTAR book again. I can't remember. I don't think I've read the entire first book since I read it for the first time. I could be wrong. This could be my 3rd reread, and I'm just like misremembering.
Okay. I don't think you have.
I think it's only my 2nd reread. I think I've read bits and like went back and read certain scenes.
Probably.
It's such a short book compared to what I remembered it being, because it's so much shorter than the rest of them.
Yeah, you really fly through it.
I really do, and it happens so quickly. It's, once again, like I was saying about It Ends With Us, it's funny to like know what I know and go back and read it and be like, why did I ever feel that way?
Literally hitting us in the head with every red flag.
Yeah.
And we just walked right past them.
I remember reading it for the first time and telling you that I didn't want to read the second one because I had accidentally spoiled myself and saw that Feyre and Tamlin weren't together anymore, and I was like, I don't like that.
I was like,
what was I thinking?
I was like, I don't care that you don't like it. Keep going.
And I stand by my original statement that first book Lucian is everything. How was she even interested in Tamlin with Lucian there?
I don't know.
I miss first book Lucian so bad.
Honestly, every time I listen to it, I'm like, God, Lucian was so much more
I know
interesting.
He's been through some things. I get it.
Yes, he's... Let's not just turn this into another Tamlin shit show.
Also, it's gonna have spoilers because the book's been out forever. So if you haven't read it at this point, it's kind of a choice. But
I mean, if you watch our channel. So.
Yeah, sorry. I can't believe that I ever thought that like the blight was a blight. It's so obvious now that they are talking about like a person and a curse, and not like some sort of like sickness or whatever they're making it seem like it was. But I have to say I did enjoy my reread. I Because first book Tamlin is a different character to me.
It is.
Just like first book Feyre is a different character.
Everyone is different in that.
So like I thought that I was nervous that I was gonna reread the book and like be like, ugh, Tamlin. But I didn't feel that way because I don't think he's the same character that I'm disgusted by now because, you know, he changes so much under the mountain. And as a result of what happens under the mountain. He changes for the worse and she changes for the better. But
yes, all of his traits are just amplified after that.
Yeah, he's already like very
narcissistic
and protective, but like protective to like a fault. You know what I mean?
That's the whole thing. His characteristics just get amplified.
Yeah.
And then he just derails.
Yeah.
And
I have to say, like, I love when it was like Cal and Maya. I was like, yes, he's gonna be there.
Oh God, yes. every time I listen, I'm like, I struggle through the beginning.
I know.
Oh God. And then we get
to Cal and Maya, and I texted her. I was like, how did I forget that this man played the fucking fiddle? Tamlin plays a fiddle.
I forget it every time.
Red flag. Immediate red flag.
Immediate. I forget it every time. I personally think I block it out every time.
He like said, he's like, I'm just a good fiddle player or something like that. I was like, what?
Yeah, this is what I would be doing if I wasn't a High Lord or whatever.
And do you ever think that it's weird that so much of the first book is just like never talked about again? Like Andrus, he's apparently like this really big character that's important to both Lucien and Tamlin. So, and then we never hear about him again after the first book.
I have theories about all of that.
Okay.
I have theories about all that that I'll get into in another video. Yeah.
Because I think it's weird. I forgot that they were such close friends because genuinely it's never brought up again. Not even after the first book. I would say after like the first half of the first book.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff about that from Tamlin's story and from the first book that I think is going to come back into play. Because of course we learned that like Andrus wanted Feyre to kill him so that she could go to Prythian. Yeah. All of it was everything.
Yeah.
Everything worked in the certain way that it was supposed to.
For sure.
Next. Okay, we're moving on. This is not an ACOTAR video, I'm sorry. The next one I read was Deep by Kylie Scott. This one is Stage Dive number 4. Have I read any of the other Stage Dives? No. But this is one that I own. So trying to knock off ones that I own.
Yeah.
And get through them.
Are they like companion novels?
Yeah, they're companion novels. So I had them on my list for forever. I found one of them. I read the one that I had. Okay. Makes sense. I gave it 3 stars. With the Stage Dive novel. Deep. I just have a problem just sitting here calling it deep. It sounds stupid.
It sounds uncomfy.
It really does.
But listen, that would have been our shit 5 years ago.
5 years ago, I would have been like, yes, I absolutely love this. It's a rock star romance. Oh my God, give me more. But I struggled through it. The dialogue was really just not there. The believability between their connection, not there. It was very rushed. And I kind of felt like they were all in high school talking to each other, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But they're all adults in like a band touring, and it was just not believable to me. Which, like, it doesn't always have to be, but I would like to believe that people speak of their age. Like, when you're in your late 20s, 30s, like, you just don't talk like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you just don't talk like you're 16 anymore. And that's kind of how that was. And I don't know. It just...
Okay. There was no maturity there.
There was no maturity there. And that was what really turned me off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I give it 3 stars because I read the whole book. Because I wanted to know what happened. Because sometimes you just need, like, a trashy romance novel to get you through.
Truly, yeah.
And that's kind of what I was in the mood for at the moment. So, like, I gave it 3 stars because that's kind of what I just wanted to read at the moment.
My next reread was A Court of Mist and Fury. I finished ACOTAR and I was like, I have several other books in my TBR, but I'm going to ignore them and immediately go into Mist and Fury because I felt like I needed that.
As you should.
Yeah. Listen, this is a hobby. I get to read books that I like. They don't always have to be like new and innovative.
No.
I can
You can read
enjoy
whatever
it.
you want.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a big girl. I'm the only one in control of it. Every time I reread Mist and Fury, I freaking love it. Every single time.
Yeah, I'm rereading it right now.
I could reread it every single week and still like it.
Yeah, it's literally one that I can go back to.
Because, and there's scenes that I love. Like, I love for the first time when Farrah goes to Valaris and they have that family dinner and she meets Cassian and Azriel for the first time.
Love it.
And
Lord Cassian.
I know, and he's just so unhinged every single time.
Every single time.
He's always got some shit to say and it always makes me laugh.
Always. Always. I love it.
Yeah.
I just listened to that like 2 days ago. And I love it so much.
And I feel like it's different than Akatar because I don't feel like I'm rushing to the end because I want. Because like with Akatar, like I know what happens and so I just want to get to what happens.
I enjoy my ride.
I like the whole part of Mist and Fury. I feel like I should reread Rings and Ruin now.
You have to.
I know.
You know what my favorite part of Wings and Ruin is? Is when they're on the ice. And Eris is attacking her.
Yes.
And they land.
Yeah.
Oh, something about that scene just
love
gets
it so
me.
much.
Like I'm getting goosebumps right now when they
I know
land.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
And
you can see their siphons.
Yes.
Well, not you, but Farrah.
And you know, like Cassian just gives her that look.
Yeah.
And it's like he doesn't save her.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know what to do. And she's like, yeah, I fucking know what to do.
Yeah.
You taught me this. Like, and she gets out of it. That's my favorite fucking part.
And I love, because I love that Lucian is so confused the entire time.
Yes. And then she announces herself and Lucian's just like,
what has happened? I know.
What is going on?
And I love like the part where, this is just an Akatar video, I'm sorry. Where when she's still at the spring court and like Lucian's onto her.
He's like, what are you
And so
doing?
she'll say something and he's like, it's so funny to me.
Lucian in that first half of that book is
that
so
man was
funny.
so confused.
He was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
I just work here.
Yeah. He's the physical embodiment of I just work here. Yeah.
Most people probably wouldn't guess that that's my favorite scene, but it is. It's just so.
I do really love that scene.
I just think it's so.
And the visualization of them like landing and the ice cracking and I can't remember what she says. I think it's like not a shadow but an Illyrian warrior or something like that.
It's just so empowering too because they're there and you think, oh, they're gonna save her, but it's like, no, Farrah can save herself.
Yeah. She just need a little backup.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass, but after Farrah gets herself out.
Right.
I just love it.
And
It's
also,
so good.
Eris is in the scene and I'm an Eris apologizer.
Yes, you are. But anyway, on to my next one. This one has been very, very popular lately.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you read that. Yeah, it's been very popular.
I did. I read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I want to say something.
Yeah.
And people may not agree with me, but I'm glad her mom died too.
Yeah. From what I've heard, she was horrible.
She was horrible. She was terrible. The things that woman had to go through. I applaud her bravery for like writing this, for coming through, for speaking her truth. It was a raw, emotional, brave story to write, and I don't want to say I enjoyed it because it literally made me feel sick. It was hard to read. I listened to the audiobook for the most part, which she narrated, which I loved. And I definitely think it was 5 stars because it was gripping. And the things that she went through, I just can't fucking imagine. Going through that, like, I mean, from such a young age, and she would have to like bleach her teeth, and like her mom would.
Wasn't she like not allowed to shower by herself until she was 18 or something like that?
Her mother would bathe her. Her mother would like wipe her when she used the bathroom. She would have to shower with her brother until she was like 16. It was absolutely absurd. She had to bleach her eyelashes, and one time the bleach got in her eye, and like, it's so absurd. Totally unhealthy relationship with food because of her mother, because she had to stay under a certain weight, and her mom wanted her to keep eating like a certain diet so that she didn't get her period, so that she didn't develop boobs, because, you know, she wanted her to keep getting these acting jobs. And like, Jeanette didn't even really want to act.
Yeah.
It was her mother that wanted her in the spotlight. And that her mother like put the pressure on her to pay the bills, to get these acting jobs, to pay the bills and all that. Just an absolute horrid story. Just,
very glad she's out of that.
Very, very glad she's out of that.
Yeah.
I wish her all the best, and I hope that she continues to get the help that she needs, because I'm sure this is going to be like a constant thing for her, because that's lifelong trauma right there.
For sure.
So I just wish her all the best and all the happiness, because that's absolutely what a vile human being.
Yeah. Totally different note. My next reread was Midnight Sun.
Now that I just brought everything down, we were having a great time, and I just took the whole thing down.
It's okay. I'm rereading one Twilight book per month to the end of the year. So I reread Twilight last month, and then I did Midnight Sun. I can't stand Edward's inner monologue. It really drives me fucking crazy. But I still had a good time reading this book. I can't describe it. It doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense.
So here's the thing is, I kind of agree with you, actually.
Yeah.
So I do not enjoy Edward's inner monologue, just like I didn't enjoy Bella's.
Yeah.
But I liked getting the glimpses of the Cullens
when they were by themselves and not around humans, and what they did like in between school and work and everything. Yeah, and you get more backstory too.
Yeah.
I liked reading them one after the other. I think next time I would tandem read them.
So you did Twilight and then Midnight Sun?
Yes, and like I finished Twilight beginning of August and then finished Midnight Sun end of October. So it was kind of spaced out. So like I said, next time
October, babe.
September, I mean. September. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Because this is October that we're in currently. I meant September.
Okay, gotcha.
So but it was probably like a good 4 weeks apart. Next time I will tandem read them. Like I'll do a couple chapters of one and then a couple chapters of the other, and kind of try to time it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, it probably won't be until next year at some point. But because I feel like my memory is so bad that I was like reading this, I'm like, did I read this in the first book, or am I just remembering it from last time I read this one?
Yeah.
So
that's the hard part, I think. Yeah. Did you feel like you enjoyed it more this time, or?
I would say I enjoyed it more or less.
No,
I think I loved it so much the first time was because I had been anticipating
waiting
it for years. So at this point, especially the beginning part, because that had been leaked and that I had read multiple times, like I was like, okay, I've read this 16 times. And so like I was more excited to get to like the last half that hadn't been leaked, that I'd only read once.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, that makes sense. The next one I read was Skin Trade, which is number 17 in the Anita Blake series by Laurel K. Hamilton. I jumped back in. I was missing these characters, and I was like, you know what? Let's see what Anita Blake is up to.
Yeah.
Because I was really in the whole sci-fi. Like, I had just finished Harry Potter. I was re-listening to ACOTAR, and I was like, you know what? Let's see what Anita Blake is up to. And I was not disappointed. Honestly, this one was a 4-star read for me. This one, she went back and she was working on a case. So it wasn't as much of the boyfriend drama that I had gotten in some previous books that I had complained about a little bit.
Yeah.
So we were working on a case, and we were working back with the cops and the detectives, and we had some more of Edward.
Ironic.
I just love that.
Yeah.
So I got some more of that in this book, which I really appreciated. And you know, sometimes she can still get under my skin. Sometimes Anita can really go on about, you know, being short and petite and the best of the best. But other than that, like, I really did enjoy it. We had some interesting villains in this one. Took some interesting turns. She got some more powers in this one. She collected a few more animals.
Loved them.
We got some tigers now.
Okay.
With some tigers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's getting kind of interesting. Actually, I'm not only just interesting, I'm having some trouble keeping up with all the animals we're getting, honestly. I'm gonna have to make a chart or something.
Like an Excel chart.
Right, like a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Maybe a diagram, map, family tree somehow. But it was good. I had a good time. So
yeah.
I'm gonna keep going.
Good.
I'm gonna do this.
You may as well. You're so far in.
17 books.
Yeah.
I'm 17
You have
books
to keep
in.
going
I'm
at
just
this
gonna
point.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one I read in September. This was my only first read that I read in September, and it was, I don't even think I can call this a first read because I know the story already. It was A Game of Thrones. I love the show. I'm a big fan of the show. Ever since House of the Dragon came out, I decided I was gonna rewatch the entire show. So once I finished that is when I started this book.
Okay.
When I rewatched the show though, I skipped the first couple seasons on purpose, just because especially season 1's not my fave. And so it was really cool to go back to that part of the story. There are things that I definitely forgot about, and there are things like I made some notes, and I want to like I put like little sticky notes in here. I want to go back and watch the first few seasons and see if I just remember wrong, but like there's things like, I know you won't know what this means, but Mance Rayder, who I remember being a really big character towards the end, especially after Jon becomes like Lord Commander. I didn't realize he was referenced as much in the beginning, and I don't know if I just am remembering that wrong or if that's like a difference between the book and the show. But that was cool. I loved the reintroduction to the direwolves because it's been so long since I had watched that part of the show. That I loved seeing that aspect again of like all of them finding their direwolves that kind of go along with them. And then there are aspects that I didn't like. That Catelyn, I can't stand. I can't stand show Catelyn or book Catelyn, and so I kind of found myself really wanting to skip over the chapters that were from her point of view. Every chapter is from a different character's point of view. It kind of rotates, and there's several of them, which I really, really liked, except until it got to Catelyn.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to skip that really bad. But I actually really liked it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
I do want to read this.
I think you should. This is one of the few situations where I think you should watch the show first.
So I've watched the first season.
You have to give it more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Season.
You need to give me your HBO Max.
Yeah, I'll give you the login.
Yeah.
Season 6 is peak Game of Thrones to me, but I feel like I really got into it like end of season 2.
Okay. I'm totally willing.
Yeah,
I will watch it.
It's very good.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
I'm totally willing. I will watch it and I will read the books.
I'm very excited to continue. I was gonna start with the one, I can't remember what it's called, From Fire and Blood or something like that. Yeah, I think that's right. The one that House of the Dragon is based off of, but I had a hard time getting into that, so I'm just gonna read that at the end, even though it's a prequel.
Yeah, I heard that one's a little bit more difficult to read.
I did not have a hard time getting into this one at all though, which I was surprised about. A Game of Thrones was like really easy for me to read.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was a little intimidated by that as well. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to.
No, it's actually not bad to read.
Okay. So the last one that I read was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Slowly making my way through these. This one I gave 3 stars. So here's the thing. I personally, so I've read a few of hers. I've read Malibu Rising, Evelyn Hugo, and then Maybe in Another Life, and now Daisy Jones. Maybe in Another Life was my favorite. I feel like Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo were kind of stories that were just like retold. They were like based off of other people's lives and retold, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
Like Evelyn Hugo was clearly based off of a few different famous actresses. Daisy Jones and the Six.
It's Fleetwood Mac, right?
It's Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
It's totally Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And I did not necessarily like the way the story was told. It was told from an interview standpoint.
Yeah.
So it's literally in interview format. So it's told from every different person's point of view, like just an interview mode. And I would have liked to see a little bit more development because like you don't get the full story. And like I understand what she was doing it, and it is a cool concept, but I think there were certain areas of the story that she needed more development and more elaboration on that we just didn't get, so it kind of fell flat for the reader.
Yeah.
And the ending, like I think what she was counting on to be the big reveal was just kind of a big letdown to me. I just was like, oh, okay. That was it?
Yeah.
I don't really care about that.
Okay.
Like, that wasn't a big deal for me, because also Daisy Jones is supposed to be like this big enigma, you know, like kind of like Stevie Nicks, right?
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated with Stevie Nicks. She is a queen to me. I fucking love Stevie Nicks. This chick was boring. Like, I did not like any characters in this book.
Okay.
There was one character in the band that I was kind of interested in, and she didn't get enough time in the book, I felt like, and her story kind of went shitty, and I was kind of mad about it. And so other than that, I was just kind of like, okay, this is kind of, I felt like it was something I had already read.
Yeah.
So Daisy Jones and the Six was a 3 for me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know everybody loves it.
Yeah.
But for me, also, like, I'm a big music fan, so I read a lot of things about music. I've read a lot of things about musicians. So maybe this was just not like
Maybe,
an introduction for me. So I just, like, I feel like it's already been done.
That makes sense.
So that's it for me.
That's it for me too. I also just do want to point out that I'm wearing my Sansa Stark necklace.
It's really pretty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's from Alex and Annie.
It's really pretty. I'm wearing a Cruella one.
I wore it because I felt like it kind of went with my outfit, but also went with the fact that I was going to talk about Game of Thrones.
I'm wearing Cruella.
Look at our necklaces.
Mine says "Stay Weird."
It's got like a little stone, and then it's got the Stark wolf.
I see.
And then it's got like the little circle with the line through it, like the necklace that she wore all the time towards the end.
That's cute.
I'm a Sansa stan, so.
That's cute. Also, her outfit's very fall.
Yes.
And I
The
wore
brown
one
and the tan.
for Salem, Massachusetts, because
It's October.
October!
It's spooky month.
It's spooky month, so you can expect to see some spooky things from us.
And also our fan theory for ACOTAR video.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that one.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. Also, we are a little bit behind on our little book club and our bookish babble.
Because I reread ACOTAR.
Because we've been doing some stuff for some other videos.
Yes.
So we will be continuing our book babble. Our book babble is coming for Girls Without Tears. So I do apologize for the delay, but it is coming.
And for October, we're going to be reading It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover and doing
Yes.
a book babble on that. So
And yes. So hold tight. We're going to be coming with those. So comment down below, hit that like button and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we post next.
bye.
Bye.